Hi friends, so today we're doing Kramer's rule over 2.6 or
3.8,
3.7, and yeah, I'm just introducing the video.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, you guys are all set.
3.7 continued. Here we go.
Continue.
Okay, Kramer's rule. We need to talk about this. You can use determinants, which is what we did yesterday. Those are all determinants to solve a system of linear equations. So instead of doing substitution or elimination, I can use matrices to solve for x, y, and z. So all of you that hated doing that the other day, this is another option. Okay. So that's called Kramer's rule. And it just talks about this guy, this mathematician, when he existed. Yes, he's Swiss. Okay? He uses the coefficient matrix of a linear system. So, if you have linear systems, you have ax plus by equals e, you have cx plus dy equals f. You have something with x, you have something with a, and it equals a constant. What they do for this is they create a coefficient matrix out of it. So I take the leading coefficients of a and b, and I put them into a matrix. Then I come down here and take the coefficients of c and d and put it into a matrix, so that I get a 2 by 2 matrix. From there, I have a step of processes I have to do. If it's a 2 by 2 system, okay, you let A be the coefficient matrix of this linear system. So they're saying I'm representing this whole matrix as matrix A. Okay? It cannot equal 0. The determinant of A cannot equal 0. Then the system has exactly one solution. Okay? A solution for x and a solution for y. So what you do is you set up this coefficient matrix. You find your determinant by going A times D. Okay? And then you subtract from it C times B. When you do that, you now get the determinant of your coefficient, okay? Then you have to rearrange your equation for what you're looking for, your matrix for what you're looking for. Here, I have an E, a B, an F, and a D. Now watch what this goes with. Your answers take place of what you're looking for. If I'm looking for X, I now put my answers in that column, okay? So if I'm looking for this unknown, I'm going to substitute my unknown out with the answers from my equations. And then I just put the leading coefficients of my y's in there. Okay? If I'm solving for y, I substitute the y's out and put my answers in for that. So what I'm doing is setting up another determinant over the answer of the determinant I got. When we do it with numbers, it's going to make sense. Okay? So the numerators for x and y are the determinants of the matrix you just created by replacing the coefficients of x and y with the column of constants. What that means is this. Okay? This is your system. They say solve this system using Kramer's rule. Okay? Using Kramer's rule, we're solving this system. If I want to solve this system, the first step is I have to find the determinant, okay? So step 1, find determinant. Okay, I'm going to find the determinant by setting up a matrix with the leading coefficients. I'm going to use 9, 4, 3, and negative 5. So I say 9, 4, 3, negative 5. Finding the determinant of that. What is 9 times negative 5? Negative 45. What is 3 times 4? Okay, minus 12. So what is negative 45 and negative 12 together? Negative 57. Okay. That's step 1. I have to find that determinant. My determinant is negative 57. Okay? Step 2 is apply Kramer's rule both to the x and to the y. Okay? So what I'm going to do is this. Solve for x and y. If I'm solving for x, I set up another determinant over top of the answer from my original determinant. Okay? So what I get is this. If I am solving for x, I am replacing 9 and 3 with -6 and -21. So -6 goes here, -21 goes here. My y column stays the same because I'm not trying to find y yet.
So when you finding x, you use the numbers that are, you use the numbers that are equal, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When you find a y, you use the x numbers?
Yes. So when you find the x, I replace the x values with the answers. When I find the y, I replace the y values with the answers. I'm always replacing with the answers,
Okay.
whatever variable I'm finding. Okay, so now I do this determinant like I would have done any other determinant. I say -6 times -5. 30. I say -21 times 4. -40. Oh yes, 84. Okay, -84. And that's all over top of -57 right now.
It's -84?
It is
So
negative
would it
80.
be a negative minus, it would be plus?
Yeah, so it would be a plus. It would be minus, right, so I get a plus. So 30 plus 84 gives me, 114, 8, 9, 10, 11, yes, 114. 30 plus 84 gives me 114. So I have 114 over -57. So you take 114 and you divide it by -57 and you get -2. So my x value is -2.
And then you solve for y the
The
same
bottom
way.
left number
Is what?
in matrix.
This,
Social.
-5,
No, the left. One to the left.
-21. Okay, so now I'm going to solve for y as well. Okay, I do the same thing for y. I say y equals, and I set up a determinant. But I'm going to keep the x values, 9, 3. Where the y values are, I put the answers, -6, -21, all over my original determinant of -57. Okay? I do 9 times -21, which would be -189. Okay. I do 3 times -6, which gives me minus -18, which means I'm adding those. And it's all over top of -57. What's wrong, Brady? What's wrong?
Oh, nothing.
So 189, -189
Say
plus,
it with the chest.
-287.
Say it with your chest, blood.
Oh.
Try way.
Please say heard me, I heard you.
So we doing -80, I got you.
so I get 189, -189 plus -18, right?
Yep,
Gives
negative
me
207,
-107.
107.
It should be -189 minus a -18, so it's
Negative
-189 plus
Minus,
18,
So plus 18. Ah,
right? So I get -171
right about
over -57.
3.
3,
Yeah.
so y equals 3. So my answer to this system is -2, 3. I just solved that system without using substitution or elimination. That's it, that's your answer. -2, 3 is my solution point. Okay, that's how you do a 2x2 system. Yeah, there's a 3x3 too, right? Because we have x, y, and,
What we just
I think not.
Isn't it just the same thing we do with that, only you do it
Except for you add the third row, yes.
Oh, that's
Exactly,
not
Tyler.
that hard.
Come on, guys, nothing to panic about.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, so, on a 3 system one, okay. On a 3 system one, we're gonna look at this.
Why he slurping like
Okay,
that?
so 3 system, time out, just focus. On a 3 system one, you do the same process. First, you find the determinant of the original matrix. The way you set up the original matrix is you do all the leading coefficients, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I make my second rows over here, right? A, B, D, E, G, H. I go diagonally, I get my determinant, okay? Once you get your determinant, you set it up the same way. If I am solving for X, I put the answers in the X row. If I am solving for Y, I put the answers in the Y row. If I'm solving for Z, I put the answers in the Z row. Zero. I know, it sounds weird. In the Z row. And then I solve that determinant and divide by the original determinant. It is the same exact process, it just takes longer. But this has less error a lot of times, and it doesn't take as long as doing substitution or elimination with 3 variables. So pick and choose the evil, you know, whichever one. But this might be a quicker way for some of you and a more fail-proof way of solving these. So they give a word problem with a 3 by 3.
Chemistry.
They say the atomic weights of 3 compounds are shown. Use a linear system and Kramer's rule to find the atomic weights of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So they want you to represent carbon with C, hydrogen with H, and oxygen with O. Okay, so we have to come up with 3 equations. That's the fun part. Okay, so if you know anything about compounds, it means that things are made, like more than one thing is combined to equal something else, right? So if I read this compound right here, what is that telling me? C6H12O6, and then the weight is 180. What is that telling me?
36 carbons.
Good. Hydrogen, 6 oxygen, and that equals 180. So I can literally take that information and make my equation. Okay? So I can say, my first equation is 6C plus 12H plus 6 oxygen equal 180. Okay? What is my second equation then here?
C
Yep.
plus 2O.
C plus 2O equals 44. So I have C plus 2O equals 44. And my third equation is what?
2H plus 2O equals 34.
2H plus 2O equals 34, okay? So my question is this. Here, I do not have an H. Here, I do not have a C. So what do you think when we use our determinant is going to be our placeholder for those? 0. Which makes determinants so much easier because there's zeros in the row and things just make it.
Wait, how do you know,
Uh-huh.
how can you tell if it's 60 or 60?
You just have to know. I mean, we just know it's oxygen here.
It's not users.
Yes, I would probably just say X, Y, and Z if I were you. Does that make sense? So that is how we're going to set this up. So if I set up the determinant, I set up 6, 12, 6, right? I set up 1, nothing's here, so 0 and 2. I set up 0, 2, and 2. Now, I solve this determinant. Okay, this is 0, this is 0, this is beautiful because it's not hard, and that is 12.
Are we supposed to add them things together? I thought we were supposed to subtract them from each
You subtract this diagonal from those diagonals.
That, bruh.
This is 0, this is 6 times 2 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24, and this is 24. Okay? So you get 12 minus 48. So you get negative 36, right? Okay? So that's my determinant for the whole thing. Now, if you wanna solve for x, y, and z, I have to create 3 more determinants, right? And so, if I'm solving for c here, or x, I am replacing this whole row with the answers. So I'm saying 180, I am saying 44, and I am saying 34. Then I say 12, 0, 2, 6, 2, 0.
Can I get some more juice?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All over negative 36. This is how you find C. I'm only going to find C so that we can save some time. Okay. So I would rewrite this out here. 44, 0, 34, 2. I would come through here. You get 0. I come through here. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 times 3 is 74, right?
Making my way down.
72. 24 times 3 is 72. Stop, Tyler. 6 times 44 times 4, right? Or is that right? What did I do? Yes, 6 times 44 times 4. 1056. Okay. Then from there, I go this way. 34 times 0 times 6, 0. 2 times 8 times 180. 2 times 8 times 180. 28, 80. And then 0 times 44 times 12, 0. Okay, so then I get 72 plus 1056, right? Which is 1128.
Wait, where'd you get the 72 from?
That's a good question.
Because shouldn't it be?
I did 180 times 0 times 0, which is 0, right? And then
Yeah.
you do 12
Times 2 times 3.
So you're not just doing the
times 2 times 3. 12 times 2.
No, 34.
So much faster.
No, 34.
What?
34. It's, there's 12 times 2 times 34.
12 times 2 times, oh, 34, you're right. 12 times 2 times 34. So this is 816 is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then this one is not this either. It is 6 times 44 times 2, right? Which is 528. How's that? Okay, that's better. And then this shouldn't be a negative because there were no negatives here, right? I didn't have any negatives.
Hey, babe,
So-
I'm hungry. Trying to move real quick.
816 plus 528
Are you?
is 1344, and I'm subtracting from it 2880, correct? So you get negative 1536, and then you divide that by negative 36. I feel like that's wrong though.
So you got 130, 132, 34.
180, 44, 34. 12, 0,
That comes up to
2,
be a decimal.
6, 2, I know. Oh, I know what we did wrong, because I'm
You did
stupid
wrong.
and Mallory is smarter than me. I put a 0 instead of 2 in that bottom space, because I'm an idiot and didn't read it right. Because Mallory says, how do you not get confused?
Wait, what about
I
this?
did.
You just know.
You just know, unless you're me, and then you get confused and you're being dumb.
Sarcasm is uncanny for you.
So,
But it's still 0.
no, it was 2 here, because this
Number
one
3.
here is 2H, and this one here is also 2 oxygen, right? So
Yeah.
it should have said 180, 44, 34, 12, 0, 2, 6, 2, 2. And I had a 0 there, which makes a big difference. And then it's 180, it's 12, it's 44, it's 0, it's 34, and it's 2. So that's 0. This is 12 times 2 times 34.
Those are 2024.
Miss Peters, you should be working here in 20 years. You know what? Because I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna take
And
Dwight's
then
spot.
6, 44, and 2.
Everything. I'm coming
No,
back.
5,
Oh.
6 times 2 times 44 is 528. That's gonna make the difference right there.
Want to be a
And
surprise.
then from there, you're subtracting 0 plus 2 times 180, which is 720, plus 2 times 44 times 12, which is gonna make my difference right there, okay? Which is 1056, big difference, okay. So then I have 816 plus 528, and I'm subtracting from this 1344, 720 plus 1056, which is 1776. So when I do that, you get negative 432. There we go. Then I have to take that and divide it by negative 36. So my carbon would equal, well, that's weird, would equal, okay, carbon equals
12.
12. And then I would go and I would do X. Now,
Oh my
let me
God.
tell you
Wait,
something,
how do you do, oh, you put
or I
that
would
in
do the
there.
next one. Let me tell you a secret about this. You don't have to do this 3 times, you only have to do it twice, because what happens when you do it twice?
Plug it in.
You can plug it into one of the equations and solve, okay?
Don't be a this BS.
Yes,
I'm just confused where the 12, the 0, the 2, the 6, the 2, and the,
Because you're solving for C.
because this formula here is where I get the 6, the 12, and the 6. There are
Yeah, bruh.
6 carbons that make up 12 hydrogen and 6 oxygen that make up this 180. So I set up an equation off of that. Okay? Then I set up an equation off of this one. Only carbon and oxygen make this up. So there's 1 carbon, there's 2 oxygen. So carbon plus 2 oxygen equals 44. Then I set up the third one. Only hydrogen and oxygen. So 2 hydrogens, 2 oxygens equal 34. From there, I do my determinant of that system. After I do my determinant of that system, whatever I'm looking to figure out, I replace that whole column with the answer column. And do another determinant and divide it by the original determinant. On this one, you only have to solve for one determinant, because this equation, the middle one, only has a C and an O in it. So I can plug C in, figure out what O is, and then I can plug C and O into the top equation to figure out what hydrogen is.
So if we were trying to find O, what would we use?
If you're trying to find O, that column where O is becomes the answers. So this column right here where O is would get replaced with 180, 44, and 34.
And then we plug those answers into that equation.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so that is what you're doing to use Kramer's rule to solve
Well, Kramer's not
Equations.
done none.